Hello, and welcome to another edition of Ask the Professor, a crowd-funded, crowd-driven feature where we respond to your questions and comments on everything from history to culture, political philosophy, current events, all the things that matter to us in our common life together as citizens. And today's question comes from Tyler. He says he's always been a proud Canadian, but recently he visited the United States and he was very struck by how much more pride Americans seem to take in their history and their heritage, particularly of constitutional liberty. And then he asks, do you ever get depressed about the state of affairs in Canada? Would you ever think about moving to the United States? And I want to say, first of all, I think it is inspiring to see the pride that Americans take in their history, justified pride in a history of liberty, coupled, and this is important, with an acute awareness of the ways in which over time their nation has fallen short, including obviously the United States, the real horror, racial slavery. There have been other problems, and Americans talk in a lively way about that, but they do it all, or at least did until recently, against a backdrop of pride in the fact that as a free and self-reliant people, they could solve any problem, including those that history had bequeathed to them. I think Canadians should be more like that. And in order to become more like that, we need a better understanding of what it is in our history that we should be proud of, and particularly the fact that we too were born free. That every bit as much as the Americans, we trace our political heritage back to Magna Carta and beyond. That we are one of those societies in which the individual is valued, not just in the abstract, but in terms of actual functioning legal protection because of the fact that we are a land of individual liberty. That may sound un-Canadian, but if you doubt me, watch our documentaries on Magna Carta and on Canada's Constitution, because that is who we are. So then, do I get depressed about the state of affairs in Canada? I don't exactly get depressed. I get worried. I worry a lot. I have often said that I am not an optimist. Optimism is a psychological condition, generally fatuous. But I am hopeful. Hope is a theological virtue. I believe with Adam Smith there's a lot of ruin in the nation. Things are going wrong in Canada. We are losing or have lost many of our rights. We once did have the right to bear arms. Yes, we did. And it was cherished by people as disparate as William Lyon Mackenzie, Louis Riel, and Sir John A. Macdonald. That one is gone, and I'd like to see it come back. Our freedom of speech is under attack. Our right to own property is under attack. There are enormous legal hedges on this, and what's more, they are not regarded as outrageous. When they're exposed, people go, oh yeah, well, that sounds reasonable. Sure, shut him up, take her property. We need to get away from that. We need to understand that everything that we enjoy in this country, the prosperity, the openness of our society, our resolute contribution to the defense of freedom in 2 world wars and the Cold War in Korea, all of this came out of our dedication to individual rights, and you cannot cut the roots and expect the tree to continue to bear fruit. So we need to worry about that, and I am worried. Am I in despair? No. I'm a hopeful person. All life, as Damon Runyon said, is 6 to 5 against. The odds here are worse, but it's a fight worth fighting. And therefore, no, I have no intention of leaving. Not because I couldn't live in the United States. I have often wondered if I could live in any part of the world that didn't have wide open spaces. One thing about being Canadian, I grew up spending my summers in the wilderness, at least Georgian Bay. I mean, that's sort of wilderness, though. Real northerners would scoff at the notion. The United States has lots of wide open spaces. I would feel very uneasy in any country, including I think the UK, where nature was so compressed and encroached upon. I really don't think that I could live except as a kind of guest in any country that was not based on Magna Carta and was not trying to find its way to a system of liberty under law based on the rights of the individual and limitations on government. As I put it in the Constitution documentary, in Canada, government can be small because the citizens are big. I could not live comfortably in any other atmosphere. But I am here, and it is here that I intend to plant my flag, raise a standard, as George Washington put it in the American Founding Constitutional Convention, a standard to which the wise and the honest may repair. Arthur Ashe once said that the secret to life, more or less, is start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. The fight here is as important as the fight anywhere else. The conditions are actually a good deal more favorable here than they are in much of the world. And because through accident of birth and the course of my life, I'm a Canadian, I say this country and its great traditions are worth restoring. They can be restored, and it is up to those of us who see the need to restore them to dig in and try and do it. If you feel the same way, and you think Ask the Professor is making any kind of contribution to that effort, however small, submit a question or comment. Here's the URL. And if you're not already a backer of this or my other work, click here. It'll take you to the place on my website where you can make a monthly or one-time pledge to sustain me in all that I do. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.